What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to react to not just these championships, this championship series that's going on, but Jason Whitlock made some statements about Victor Wembanyama that I agree with. And you know what? And I've been saying the whole time that Victor Wembanyama, he's good for the league, and I always said this, and because he's going to make the rest of the league have to step up and play a more physical style of basketball. Right? Victor Wembanyama is a finesse basketball player, and if you were around to see basketball in the '80s, the '90s, and the 2000s, at least the early 2000s, basketball was a lot more physical when you had like those power forwards in there. And the guards were bigger and stronger, right? You had Chauncey Billups, Jason Kidd, Brandon Roy, Darren Williams. Like these guys, these guards were like about all of them fell into about the 6'3" to 6'5" range, right? And so they were athletic and they were strong. You don't see that in the league no more. You go from point guard, and you don't really have no point guards in the league once Chris Paul really retired. And you got Conley in the league, but you don't have pure point guards in the league, and you don't have power forwards. So you got you got the small forwards and what's the I don't know what you call them, like stretch fours and stretch five and all that stuff, right? But in order to defend somebody like Victor Wembanyama, who is 7 feet 5 inches tall, you need to be able to move him off of his spot and not allow him to play that finesse game. And that's why the Knicks are having so much success against him, because he can't play his, they bumping and they leaning all on him, and they got bodies to throw at him. And I thought that this was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to happen like this series this year, but I know that OKC don't have the personnel to deal with him. You saw what he did to Chet Holmgren, right? Chet Holmgren is like 7 feet 2 or 7. He over 7 feet tall, but he frail just like Victor Wembanyama. So Victor Wembanyama was having his way with guys who are just not as if you're not physical and you're not tall as him, he's gonna have his way with you. But now that he's up against these New York Knicks, and they are physical, and you got Cat Williams, who's 7 feet tall, and then you got some other big bodies in there. It makes a whole difference, right? And so I'm going to play what Jason Whitlock had to say about the Knicks, Brunson, and this series, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give some more of my input.
Jalen Brunson is the lead character in this movie. And I tried to hit at this point yesterday, but I just want to hammer it, and I thought it became crystal clear. This little thing with Wembanyama and the international players, and I want to apologize to my audience for that brief moment that I fell in love with Wembanyama. He's a foreigner. This man stood there with his arms crossed while the San Antonio Spurs and everybody stood for the national anthem. Let's play the clip.
Proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Miss me with all of it.
Now, I don't know, and I did see, and I hear a lot of people saying about Victor Wembanyama had his arms crossed, and I don't know, like he's a foreigner, and I don't know if he know like that you're supposed to put your hand over your, your left hand over your, or is it the right hand over your heart, right? I don't know if he didn't know that, that's the custom here. So like moving forward, we'll see how how he handles himself. But like I said, my thing is Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks are the story because they are playing the way like I'm used to seeing this type of basketball, like physical basketball, whereas though you just don't allow somebody to you make them play and do things and take them out of their comfort zone. And that's what the Knicks are doing to Victor Wembanyama, right? Like I said, early in the series and through these playoffs, he was having his way with everybody else. And now it's a whole different, situation when you got people out here who can keep him, they can lean on him. They got bodies, and it's not just about Cat Williams, which Cat Williams, in my opinion, is doing a great job, but they got guys who can just go at him in waves. And so this is like old school basketball, man, that I'm used to seeing. And this, to me, you know what I mean? It just proves to me that like international ball players, to me, are not as physical as American basketball players. And so that's why, they say that the league, in my opinion, and in some people's opinion, that the league is watered down because you took the power forwards out of there, and then so then that's what you get is either a 3-pointer or a dunk. But not in this series, man. The Knicks are a gritty team, and this is something that the Spurs was not ready for.
Victor Wembanyama, I don't curse, or I certainly don't like to curse, and I almost did. I almost used that F word with a U behind it. This man standing here on the biggest stage in the NBA, making all that money, being celebrated here in America, being turned into a global superstar by America's Basketball League. And you're standing there with the national anthem with your arms crossed, with most of your other teammates with their heads down like they're at a funeral. You can't pay America the respect that it's owed. You can't show some form of gratitude when the national anthem's being played. Foreigner. I get you wouldn't do this over in France. But here in America, let me cross my arms and act like I'm bored as heck and this national anthem means nothing. And I got Jalen Brunson on the other team, him and his dad working together with the New York Knicks, him and his former Villanova teammates building a teamwork culture of sacrifice for each other. And I'm supposed to fall in love with the 7'5" foreigner that can't at the 3-point line. No, I'm real pleased that Karl Anthony Towns snatched a part of Wembanyama's soul last night. Real pleased. Look, can we put up a picture? I just want to put Scap in the mood and just see if
and Karl Anthony Towns is snatching this guy's soul. Like I said, he's just being physical with him, right? And I've always said that if you don't allow this guy, if Victor Wembanyama does his opponents a favor when he tried to, number one, when he tried to come and dribble the ball from the 3-point line and penetrate and dunk, they can take that away from him. He also, when he shoot those jumpers, you're 7 feet 5 inches tall. You would do me a favor too if you're 7 feet 5 inches tall and you want to shoot a bunch of jumpers, so I don't have to defend you in that paint, right? And so that and when I saw was that last series that Victor Wembanyama threw an elbow at the I think it was against OKC. He elbowed somebody from OKC because OKC was attempting to play him physically, right? This is what he's going to get from here on out. And I said that once the league adjusts to Victor Wembanyama, I want to see how Victor Wembanyama adjusts to the adjustment that they made for him, right? And so now that Cat Williams and the New York Knicks and Brunson and all these guys are showing that certain areas on the court, you don't allow Victor Wembanyama to be able to have access to. You make it hard for him to get on those wings. You make it hard for him to come in that paint. I want to see how he adjusts to this. You know, from here on out, not just throughout this series, but even going into next basketball season.
If Jalen Brunson looked like that, we wouldn't have to listen to the idiocy that Scap is about to spew and try to convince me that Jalen Brunson, well, he had an off night and Karl Anthony Towns carried him, just like I said. If he looked like that, he'd be singing a completely different tune. He would be giving Jalen Brunson the credit that he loves to give to Kobe Bryant. For those of you listening over Apple and Spotify and can't see the picture, we got Kobe Bryant's face on Jalen Brunson. And so, first I want to bring Scap up while I'm on this here. Can we put the picture of Jalen Brunson as Kobe? I just want you to be looking at what you saw last night from Jalen Brunson. That was a Kobe-like performance, and you need to give this man his proper credit and respect.
Yeah, I mean, what Brunson is doing in this championship series, I mean, and Brunson hasn't really got off. I'm more so impressed with Cat. I thought that if Cat, like I said, and I said in the same last series with Chet Holmgren, if Chet Holmgren don't show up for OKC, they wasn't going to win that against Wemby. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if this guy, Cat, don't play physical and don't, go to the paint and go to the rim hard, then it was going to be, it wasn't going to be good for New York either. But he's playing physical and at both ends, so that's a good thing for New York. Not so much for I just like this brand of basketball, man, because now there is strategy to it, right? There's strategy to it. And if you're the Spurs, you got to make some adjustments. And I want to see what the Spurs, what kind of adjustments they make. And you watching. Also, I like Mike Brown as a coach, right? Because he, like I said, he's got the Spurs doing things that they're not comfortable with doing on the court. And so yeah, this is a good series, man. I like this. So yeah, that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. With that being said, man, I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.